Having pretty well exhausted my interest in quantum physics, which took the better part of 3 minutes, I recently turned to a much more fascinating subject for pondering, the first of my life, such as the first fish or the first kiss. Oddly enough, I've been able to extract the memory of my first fish from the mist of time, but my first kiss leaps out with agonizing clarity. The questions are as old as time. Where do I put my head? Do I tilt it this way or this way? Do I keep my mouth open or closed? Do I keep my eyes open or closed? I want to know where I'm going. And if you're really nervous, you'll practice with inanimate objects such as soccer ball or, heaven forbid, the mirror. All in an attempt to make that first kiss a glorious moment that'll last forever, make doves fly and fireworks go off. Oddly, sadly enough, the perfect first kiss happens on take 37 in most movies. The rest of us suffer to go through The Blundered Bust by Patrick McCandless. Perhaps what makes my first kiss so memorable is that it was conducted more as a scientific experiment than as an act of adolescent lust. I simply wanted to determine what kissing a girl felt like. Nothing more, nothing less. My interests at the time centered mostly around guns, pow pow, and hunting. And I tried to transfer my knowledge from these activities to the act of kissing. The similarities be that there's an object that you're supposed to hit. The situation was this. My cousin Buck showed up at my house to request a odd favor of me. Buck was several years older than I and possessed a driver's license and, more importantly, a car. He would on occasion interrupt the car's basic purpose as a vehicle for his amorous pursuits and to take me hunting and fishing. The car was his main stronghold of my loyalties, other than brute force. The reason he had singled me out for the favor was that someone I didn't know who had started the rumor that I was quite a ladies' man. And that and that most of the girls at my freshman class at Blowmore Blight High was absolutely crazy about me. The person who had contrived this mischief even suggested that I was a great lover. And he even invented numerous fictional anecdotes in support of this reputation. I realized, of course, that the person who started the rumor was probably lacking in experience with the other sex. A lad not unlike myself. I could only sympathize for him and saw no reason to cause him embarrassment by denying the rumor, much as I was like to when I heard the favor Buck requested.
Hey, lover boy. Guess what you're doing Saturday night?
Going to a movie. A Randolph Scott Western. I can't miss it.
Yeah, you can. Listen, I got a big favor to ask you. You know my new girl, Velveeta? Well, her cousin, who's about your age, maybe a little older, is coming to town, and Val insists that she hangs out with us, so I need you for the cousin. Figure I'll take him out for Cokes and burgers, and then I'll pick you up on the way out to the gravel pit.
No, not the gravel pit. For years I've lived in terror of one night finding myself trapped in that infamous hole. The gravel pit was the local lover's lane, or in my case, lover's pit.
Hey, the gravel pit. You don't need to twist my arm to get me to go to the gravel pit.
That's better. If you just said so in the first place, I wouldn't have twisted.
Thus it was. The following Saturday night, I found myself on the opposite side of a backseat from a girl that looked like a movie star. She had flowing blonde hair and silky smooth skin. And more importantly, a figure. The small part of my mind, unparalyzed by terror, deduced that this was going to be a long and harrowing evening. I made a mental note to myself to mention to Buck the next day the anguish he had caused me. Then I'd kill him. Scarcely had we arrived at the gravel pit that Buck and Velveeta began exchanging passionate kisses. I made a quick study of Buck's technique, never before getting to observe such closely before. So close, in fact, that the sounds emitting from the front seat sounded like Old Man Crawford slurping noodles. Never before had I put Old Man Crawford and noodle slurping in the same thought, which gives you something to say about the stress of the evening. Although I appeared outwardly calm and casual, despite the loss of feelings of all my extremities, my mind recovered from its paralysis and now ricocheted about the inside of my skull in wild panic. To rein it in, I started to pretend to myself that this girl was merely another query to stalk. I would simply apply the same psychology I used to fend off buck fever, or in this case, doe fever. I was by no means totally opposed to kissing the girl, as I'd much wondered what it would feel like. It'd be interesting to analyze the sensations coldly and objectively, as a science to do with any experiment. Despite my painful ignorance about all matters related to the opposite gender, I nevertheless realized that this would be rude of me to treat a girl as a mere science project. I thought I should first get to know something about her as a person, such as her name, or her favorite color, or if she likes the movie Rambo. My attempt at engaging her in preliminary, casual, cool conversation was not helped by the noodle slurping sounds emitted from the front seat.
By the way, what's your name?
I inched across the seat toward her, beginning my stalk. From the front seat. Opal.
So how about them Yankees, Opal? Won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Now, hot lunches at our school are really terrible. I bet they are at yours too, right?
Yeah.
So, Opal, you like, noodles? Yeah.
Yeah. As I drew within firing range of her moist, scarlet, pouting lips, Opal suddenly tilted back her head and closed her eyes. For a moment I thought she dropped off to sleep. But then I realized she had somehow divined my intent and even accepted it, only as means of killing time. Cold sweat gushing from every pore, I took a deep breath and poised myself for the shot, finger tightening on the trigger, so to speak. Then I made a stupid error. As I went in, I closed my eyes. Blindly, I went in for the target, only to discover too late I had miscalculated the trajectory. My dry, puckered, quivering lips closed not on a soft, more or less receptive mouth, but on a hard, unyielding protuberance. Startled by the unexpected sensation, I popped open my eyes to reorient myself and discovered I was kissing the bridge of Opal's nose.
Crepes!
2 wide, indignant eyes stared directly into mine from an inch away, rather disheartening, I might say. So back to witty conversation. Presently, Opal closed her eyes again and tilted her head once more. As I pondered whether to run the experiment again, a tiny snore escaped her lips. I knew then that I had no great talent as a lover or a witty conversationalist either, for that matter. In the future, would concentrate only on stalking game possessed of either feathers or 4 feet. Still, a first kiss is a first kiss, even if it is a blundered bus.